This is another episode of Friends and Brands. I am Mark Wilkins.
I am Nick Bean.
And I'm Omar El-Takrori.
Yes, sir.
What up, O?
Oh, we got him. We finally got him in here, man. The guru, right? The guru, bro. You do some of everything, man. You a lot of hands on when it comes to visuals and quality and content. You know, specifically. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, bro.
Yeah, real quickly, I mean, I moved here in 2001. I was in 5th grade, and so I kind of seen the city grow since then, and I've just been here since then. Went to high school at Silverado High School, and it was when I was in 5th grade, the friend I met, his name was EJ, introduced me to the sneaker game, and then my love for sneakers started at that time. And in high school, it was the first time, it was like Grape Fives, I think was the first camp out in 2006, and the sneaker game has taught me how to trade time for money, and kind of built a foundation of my entrepreneur journey, I guess you could say. I went to UNLV for journalism and media studies. Also did Army ROTC while I did that because I got school paid for. Shout out to no debt. You know what I'm saying? First house, VA loan, no down payment. And it's been cool. I've never really quite left that whole I've always hit the hottest shoes of the year with these raffles. What's cool about Vegas is that how dense it is with the stores that carry these releases. But I remember that's kind of just what laid the foundation. Just buying and selling and learning that everything is bought and resold essentially, right?
Yep. Yeah.
At every level. And I would say when I graduated college, I got a job at my church at the time as the creative director, and I really grew in that role as far as overseeing the branding of the church and also the experience that people feel when they come in those doors. And I was raised Catholic, and so it was very traditional going up. But when I came to this life-giving, spirit-filled church, I felt a call to kind of bring a relevance to the church. And I want church to be cool because it should be. The Bible says that Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And so I felt that call to let's make church cool. And so I've just been on this journey, obviously doing that. And then 3.5 years after that, I stepped out and started doing my own freelance work, photography, videography stuff, and reconnected with an old friend, which I'm a part of. I would say I'm a part of a few different camps. One is Think Media. Think Media is a YouTube channel, teaches tips and tools for YouTube, but also content and gear. About to hit 1 million subscribers, which is exciting.
Crazy.
And then Sean Cannell is the CEO of Think Media, and I've just come on as a content creator and just helped it grow. Since I think it was at around 75K at that time, but has seen his business grow, literally being number 2, 3. And so I've been enlightened. And in that time, I also helped friends of ours plant a church, City Light Church, with Jabin and Shannon Chavez, and it's been unreal. It's been 2 years with City Light, and we over 1,000 people are coming through our doors. And again, being able to bring that relevance to our church early on, I think has helped a lot of young people come through the doors. But as I have grown personally, as building a business, now I run an agency that offers strategic YouTube strategy for businesses. And also video podcasting. So I really do think this format of creating content is the smartest way, because we could shoot it, we got the audio, we got the video goes up, and then we can cut micro from these, and so if somebody is pressed on time but they need to get in the space of online video and have a presence, then no better way to kind of do it in this format.
Thanks, bro.
And so I've been able to help a local company here go from 30K doing sales online every month. That's where they kind of capped out at 6 months selling lash products. It's a lash extension company.
Wow.
Started throwing content on their brand with YouTube and strategic search, SEO strategies on YouTube, and their business, their online sales grew 30K month over month. So just in 7 months, they were doing 30, and then they were at 250. And I had a case study. I was like, bro, I have something to offer. And so that's kind of just the journey I've been on. I got 2 staff. My wife is one of them. And then,
keep it in the family.
Dope.
Right.
They say, every great man, you need a great woman.
For sure.
Every successful man, you
100%.
need a great woman.
And yeah, it's just a growth. And I do see myself kind of transitioning into the place of I'm not one to make all this money and you know, go lavish, but I think but really creating a legacy, you know, investing, real estate and stuff like that. But I'm just
treat yourself too. You can treat yourself.
I do a little bit. I'm wearing Gucci loafers, so it's all good.
Gucci loafers. All right,
see
bro.
The framework
So
too.
you mentioned earlier about, you know, making church cool.
Right.
Now, if you can go into that a little bit more on like the more me when I hear making church cool is like the more modern church, right?
Sure.
What we see nowadays with all the churches that's out,
right?
You see people dressing like us in there, you
right?
know what I'm
right.
You come in your fits, you come as you are.
Well, right. That's what Jesus said, right? Come as you are.
Just right. The message, and it's just like tell me what you think about that. Expand a little bit more on like how that's changed and.
For sure. I mean, I just, you know, tradition is great. You know, I think tradition's an awesome thing. You know, being raised Catholic, I was really taught to like have a reverence for God and like these traditions. The potential issue with that is when tradition becomes religious. When you're doing it for the tradition, then you're removing the heart behind of why you're doing something. Mm-hmm. What's cool about creating or like these lifestyle, life-giving churches that you would say is relevant, and the way I got, you know, legit. The way that like I guess you could say sucked into the, you know, local church is I was watching a pastor's sermon. His name is Judah Smith, and he had an undefeated like bomber jacket that was custom made with his basketball team. And I was like, was this like a collab? And,
right.
You know, right. And I'm learning, and then as I was digging, I was like, oh, these dudes are connected to guys that have connections and who guys are in like, you know, designers and stuff like that. And but yeah, I think more than ever, it's just been important that churches, you know, think of themselves, and it's not trying, you right? It's just a nature. I mean, you see at City Light, it's kind of like our pastors are just like they're young, they're cool. He knows a creative director at Fear of God sent him some gear, and he was rocking it this weekend. And I was posting pictures of our pastor on my stories and stuff, and people are like, "Okay, pastor with the Fear of God tee, 6 collection."
You automatically think he's supposed to be up there in a 4-piece suit.
No, right. And so and culture is everything, and it's all based off like the culture and the people you're trying to reach. I think we've just made it a point at City Light to we need the young generation, but not to discount the old. You know, we it's a cool multi-generational thing happening over at City Light, but I do think it's important for churches to be active on social media because Monday through Saturday is tough. You know, like people go back to their lives and they need that pickup, and it takes time for somebody to pick themselves up during the week. You know, maturity comes with time, and so I always like. I do a couple, I consult a little bit on the side and help churches in that regard. And my biggest thing is like, is your church pastoring through your platforms? Are you using your platforms to like encourage your church throughout the week, which also creates a reason why people want to follow it. So it's not just these like brochure driven Instagram, you know, feeds. It's like men's breakfast here. We got Sunday service here, and we got girls' night here. We got youth coming up, but more it's like, yo, what song are you pumping right now? Like, where are you getting your what are you worshiping to right now, or what scripture is just like on your heart, and just creating engagement on social media. I mean, just all this like relevance I think is just important because the church shouldn't die. You know, and I think it's been cool to see churches, you know, on the come up, and then obviously the whole Kanye Sunday service thing has been really cool. I mean, biggest question. I'm a Kanye guy. Like, I'm a Kanye guy. I'm a 2003, 2004 double collar popped with the pink polo. I wore pink Timbs. Some dude almost wanted to fight me because I was wearing pink in middle school. Wow. But I've seen Kanye evolve and. All that to say, like, a lot of people always come to me like, dude, what do you think about Kanye? Is this real stuff? I'm like, I think it is real. Like, I mean,
his biggest song was Jesus Walk.
No, for sure. And I think it's just kind of those full circle moment type things. But there's power in being raised in church. And I think, you know, as you know, we all got families here. I think it's important that that we set that foundation. And I want to make sure that my daughter knows that church is fun and cool, and not just for the sake of it, but because I genuinely believe God is fun and cool. Like he's the one who brings me my relevance. Like the way I'm able to like connect with people and carry conversation. I've never really left culture. I'm not one to like, I didn't disconnect myself and like put myself in a box because like those things made me who I am. And I think those experiences help me connect with guys like you know, and every time he comes in with unreleased sneakers and I'm like, dang, dude, but he's blessed in the shoes, so it's all good.
Blessing
before the world gets it.
His shoes. I mean, I like to interject too. I think it's very interesting and unique. You know, I was raised, you know, on both sides where mostly pop culture driven upbringing, but also church. My father's side of the family, my My great cousin is a pastor there, a younger pastor. My great uncle was a pastor at the church originally. My dad is a deacon. So, I do have that church experience, and I can relate more than anything because, with your upbringing, it was boring. I'm just call a spade a spade. Sure. It was very boring. I was in Sunday school. I didn't want to be there. I was there after church was over, after being there for 2 hours. I did not want to be there. Right. Christmas Eve, I was there. New Year's Eve, I was there. Anytime I spent time with my grandmother on my father's side, I was actively in the church unwillingly.
For sure. That was me growing up too.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of it too, and it sounds like I'm going to have to come check out the church, but it sounds like, to me, that the Word of God is more of a modern approach.
Sure.
And I felt like I needed that when I was younger, because I didn't want to dress up. I didn't want to sit there and, listen to it. I challenged different things that was against the word that was being preached to me. Right. And it wasn't because I didn't believe in God, because I ultimately do believe in God, but it's more so how it's being delivered. And I think it's very important. I used to be one that shunned Kirk Franklin when we used to drop the hip tracks, but it's cool to see Ye do what he's doing, because I think Ye is the vessel
100%
of any vessels that can pretty much translate that word and have people really gravitate toward it. And you also have to, I think the problem with the old age of teaching Christianity or anything God driven is it's this way or no way, know, and everything else is sinful. If you're wearing dope unreleased sneakers, you're materialistic and you're idolized. It's false idolship. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Or adultery.
Right.
Not adultery, but idol. What is it?
Idol worship.
Idol worship, not adultery. Idol worship. So it's, to me, I'm like, it's cool to see churches do stuff like that, because you should be connected to the brands. You can still wear the brand. If that's like saying, I know pastors and preachers, everybody ain't shopping at Burlington's, you know what I'm saying, or Men's Warehouse. They getting Gucci and Tom Ford suits, and there's nothing wrong with that. And to be honest, if I roll out the bed, if I'm preaching the word, I should be able to throw on a Vertigo hoodie, and you know what I'm saying, and throw on something. That's key. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with the jewelry. Like I just think that people put too much negative connotation towards. They looking at all listening like, he can't be about God. It's like, I got tattoos doesn't mean I'm not about God.
Right.
So I think that's pretty cool.
No, for sure. I think, and just to be straight up, that is religion. Religion is focusing on the outward appearance.
Right.
When the focus is that, when we all know that God looks at the heart,
right?
It's hard to judge someone on their outward appearance, because you don't know their heart. Exactly. And that's why it's really important, I think, to have that relationship with Christ, to know that for yourself. I know if I buy these pair of Saint Laurent boots, if it hits me in my knower and it's like, Omar, just put it off for a second.
Right.
All right, cool, I'm gonna chill out. But best believe, I do like looking good, and fashion's been a part of my life. And I mean, I would also combat whoever, the ones who are pointing the finger, which the Bible is all about people who point the finger and Jesus actually rejecting them, but is designers that influence, more than ever. Kanye is one of the biggest names in the world. Justin Bieber, one of the biggest pop stars in the world, big on confessing their faith, and I think like Fear of God, Jerry Lorenzo, his T-shirts are $450. But he's trying to break the mold in a certain genre, in a certain area, and dude, I like to connect with that. If I want to connect with that, that's my thing. Let it, bro. That's your journey. It's all good, and so
right.
So yeah, I think that could be the issue. Is maybe church has been focused on outward appearance on every level,
traditionally.
Tradition.
Right.
It has to look like this. It has. There's no have to. We don't have to do anything. We get to, and so that's kind of the perspective. And yeah, I more than ever, I'd rather connect with you first on the fit, more than anything else. That's the bridge. The bridge is the things we're into and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm passionate about that. Currently, me and my wife kind of oversee the small groups and stuff, so making sure the church can have a place to connect during the week, Monday through Saturday. I think sometimes same, even church goers will put on a mask at church. I say what's up to Justin. It's a quick what's up, because I got stuff to do.
Right.
And it's yo, we blessed, cool, all right, I'll see you next week, and that's it. But we want authentic community to come out of this, and so I think it's important that genuine relationship gets created in Monday through Saturday, because that's the goal, is that people remove the mask and yo, I'm going through it, man. I need help, and that's where we come in and rally, and but I think more than ever, because relationship is relevant. You know, like it precedes a lot of things, but it's connected with things like fashion or music or interests. And so I think we need these things to be able to connect and relate to one another.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll chime in and then we can, kind of jump into some other stuff that, we want to talk about too. I mean, it's everybody's God-given talent to be creative. To create.
Sure.
God create.
Right.
And if you're made in God's image, then and you have the ability to create, you can create.
Right.
And so essentially what comes out of these creations is dope sneakers.
For sure.
Dope clothing lines. Dope podcasts.
Pushing boundaries. Dope podcasts. Dope podcasts.
Whatever. Like just it's your ability to create. So yeah, it is the ability to channel these creations and be able to communicate through them to have those talks about God and Christianity or whatever your upbringing is. I had the fortunate opportunity of vibing out with one of my closest brothers who was an actor, Darius Blaine. He just did Jumanji, the second Jumanji reboot. Working on the third. He's got another movie coming out, so it's just a shameless plug for my boy Darius Blaine. Oh, yeah. Keep grinding, brother. Love you. But he's very God driven, and he took me to this place in L.A. And it's a place I can't say. I don't know the exact name of the place, but it's a place of worship of all brotherhood. So every walk of religion and belief, you can go there and you can pretty much pray. And you can speak into things into the existence and into the universe manifestation. Mm-hmm. It was really dope, and it really highlighted my weekend because I was able to. I felt that peace. What I mean? So having that foundation, this man is an actor, and Hollywood is crazy.
Right.
So
for sure.
Having that foundation is very important no matter what you do. So just because you're in entertainment doesn't mean you don't have a foundation with God. If you're in clothing or whatever it is, music, you still can have a foundation.
100%.
Whether, you're doing secular work. Because let's be honest, what's the quote, and I'm sure you can quote it better than I can, but something in regards to of this world. Be of this, like...
So be in it, but not of it.
Be in it, but not of this world.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So being in the world, the way I perceive it, is you can have access and take advantage of everything
100%.
That is of this world.
Right.
And you can contribute to this world, but you're not supposed to let it consume you. Exactly. That's the way I take it.
No, that's 100%.
I'm going to leave off on that.
Yeah, that's truth. Bro. That's truth.
Yeah. That's great, man. I think y'all touched on a lot of good pieces there. And I want to revert back to you saying that we should be able to, like, you think about your daughter, right? She want to be able to look, you want her to understand that church is cool. It's a fun place. Like, even with my sons, I take them to church. It's like, they excited about it.
Right.
I don't want them to be, oh, man, we got to. No, it's like, Dad, let's get up.
No.
Let's go. We got to go. Right. So, and one of those things that I think, when you say it's Bridger is on Instagram, I look at this page, Preachers and Sneakers.
Sure.
Right?
That's dope.
Like, what do you think of, like, that's kind of dope though, because it's like it's bridging the gap from maybe people. It's a lot of sneaker guys out there that ain't found Jesus yet.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
They see this and it's like, oh,
it's okay to like sneakers and be in the sneakers, but be in the God. He got on the Black Cement 3s.
Oh, he got on the Jordan 1s.
Sure.
Oh, man, he wearing the Fear guys. It's
yeah.
Like, it's fire.
I think that's dope.
No, and I've been pretty well connected in the church space, and a lot of the times, let me just be straight, like, a lot of times these guys don't buy it, number one. They just know the people, or other churches gift them. They'll, like, come preach and they gift it. Yeah. I think more than anything, what do I think about Preachers and Sneakers? I think it's cool. I think it's the light that's being shed on the pastors, because it's almost, there's like a negative connotation because they're putting the price tag right next to it.
Right.
And then if you read the comments, it's not encouraging. It's like, how could they? How would they? Like, they don't need, but dude,
I think they need to remove the price tag, bro.
No, sure, yeah.
Just like you do NBA kicks on court, you don't show Shai Gilgeous-Alexander coming in with the Dorm Beecher
right.
4 on with the price tag,
right.
or the Air Yeezy ones.
No,
PJ.
Sure. You just see PJ Tucker coming in with the Travis Scott 4s, and it's like, he got the Travis. So why not do the? Why you got to do that with?
No, for sure. I mean, so my question is, the creator of that, like, what's the intent?
Exactly.
Is it to expose? I mean,
are you trying to do that?
Yeah, I mean, and the flip side is, maybe there's an issue. Maybe they shouldn't. Like, you can take it both ways. But to each his own, man. Like, you don't know how they got to that place. You don't know their childhood, their upbringing. Did their dad collect Jordans?
Right.
Like,
I'll say this too, not to interject with what you're saying, but I think the issue, obviously, there's a bigger issue with the church in general. It's a lot of scandal.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So here it is where preachers are known for taking the money and not investing it back in the community. So I think ultimately it all boils down to the vessel, because at the end of the day, the vessel that's preaching the word should be driven toward uplifting the community. That's what the church is about. If you do your research historically, one of the biggest foundations is the bank in the church.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, there's a lot of revenue that is generated through the church.
Right.
So the issue obviously is with the church and the preachers is what are you doing with the money?
Right.
And I think the problem with preachers and sneakers is because the resale value in the sneaker community is over $1 billion.
Cool.
That is like, even though all of these retail shoes are no more than $250, right? But the resale is $2,500. So it's like the idea is, did you pay $2,500? Did you pay with the church's money? Immediately, that's what I start to think from the negative side of it. On the positive side of it is, as long as the vessel, it depends on the vessel, as long as the vessel is doing everything they can to uplift the community, because that's what's the most important thing is community. You said it yourself. Then none of that stuff matters.
Right.
If, because that's the thing is that the church feels confident. Oh no, this man is the community centers is up to par. They're constantly doing functions that we know where the money's going.
Sure.
Then it doesn't matter where the sneakers. Because to be honest, you can do a preachers and sneakers. I ain't trying to give no gems away, but you can do an event geared towards fundraising for the community.
Sure.
And if out of it
sounds like
Chris Union or whomever comes and says, you know what, I feel compelled in the light. I got this unreleased Ford that's about to drop. I'm gonna gift the pastor that because it's good promo for him.
Dude, I did that when I used to work. When I worked at my last church, I bought my pastor a pair of the white 11s. They changed the name. What are the blue ice bottom? The Columbias, yeah.
Columbias.
I think they called them like Legacy afterwards.
Yeah,
or
they
something.
did.
Keep it Columbia.
But yeah, no, for sure.
They probably changed the hue.
But because I was like, dude, I want pastor to be cool, and so I hooked him up.
Dope.
Yeah, and I think more than ever, like, as I've been exposed in the business world, like church there is a business aspect to church. Like there's costs. Yeah, there's costs. You got staff. You got building. You got got to do this. Keep up lights.
God ain't just.
No, yeah, he's just not gonna. The flip side is, as I learn about how much a lot of entrepreneurs or even people who speak and do seminars, like Gary V's fee is $100K for a 40-minute talk.
Period.
Right.
And pastors, like, sometimes they have the ability to be able to travel and do these things, and they are now coming nowhere near that price point.
Right.
But yeah, we don't point the finger at Gary Vee, who's building multi-million-dollar business, whatever. But if a pastor is essentially being called to do a thing, and they've grown a movement essentially to thousands and thousands of people, let the integrity speak, like let the Spirit speak, and not point the finger, because even me, I mean I tithe to my church. I think it's a foundational principle that I live by, that everything that comes in my way, I give the first 10 away. To be honest with you, I don't care what they do with the money, because I'm giving to my church, but I'm giving to my church to God. And so like it precedes kind of like the human aspect.
That goes back to what you were saying about if you know God and God knows your heart, that's equivalent to me. If it's a guy out here homeless and everybody else is like, man, he's going to take it and buy an 8-ball with it. Dude, I gave it to him because I wanted to.
Right.
He needed it.
Right.
So it's essentially the same thing. Like,
But I think the scenario happens a lot with with your congregation hooking you up, because like your pastor, you're blessing me with what you've been able to do, and it's a lot. Like, dude, it's daunting. I think about the weight that our pastors carry with a church that's grown so fast in a city like this, and it's really exciting, but it's also a lot of weight, and he's also, and I've seen our pastor live like incredible. Like dude, here's the flip side. Everyone on Preachers and Sneakers, I bet you, gives way more money than anybody who comments on Preachers and Sneakers.
100%. That's always how it is.
The trolls. He said, give.
Yeah, the trolls come out to play, man. Anytime that you grow your platform, you always subject to ridicule.
Sure.
I think the biggest thing that if any pastors is taking away from it is transparency.
100%.
I think, because that's the thing is it's like this. I can never go out and do something crazy and my team won't come to my rescue. You know what I'm saying? Because they know me, they know my integrity as a man. So Nick Beam go out and do something crazy, like, no, that's not what Nick Beam would do. If you same thing with the church. If you the preacher, the pastor of the church, your church knows your intent, knows your heart, knows that you're doing right with the money being invested into that, into God. they're going to come to your rescue.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is testimony is key. Everybody that's can give a testimony in church say, no, that's not what this preacher is about. You know? But it's all about transparency at that point, because, again, it's so much negative driven toward it. And there's so many pastors and preachers that aren't doing well with the money.
Right.
Like, there was a YouTube video. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it was this YouTube video, and this preacher that was interviewing and investigating this preacher, and they're like, "So you got, you got a Bentley, and what's up with this Bentley? Well, that's, I need that Bentley to travel around. Okay, well, you spending $3,500 to $5,000 on suits. What's that about? Oh, well, I need these suits to travel, and I can't just wear any cheap suit because I break a sweat and the sweat break. He was giving up, but he clearly was snake. You know what I mean?
Which you could see right through.
Right.
So I mean, the question is, do I want to be that guy? No, I don't want to be that guy. And I mean, maybe it'll take some time to get through that. Maybe that's a struggle they may potentially have.
Right.
But we say, like, we just, if they have the Spirit, then let the Spirit do the work, and yeah, I mean, is there get to a place of excess? Sure, but then at the same time, I don't know what it looks like, because if you write a book and you sell 1 million copies, bro, you wrote a book and you sold 1 million copies.
Right,
like, I don't know,
period.
you can do whatever you want, man.
I'm telling you, it's community driven, bro.
Right.
Even another gym. Hey man, I can't give this game for free. I'm gonna have to start charging. The price is really gonna go up.
You're gonna get that Gary V price. You're gonna start charging that Gary V price in a minute.
I'm serious, but no, seriously. I think, again, the vibe is this: you connect with a brand, invite that brand out, and then vibe with the brand for a creative process.
Yeah, sure.
I ain't gonna go too much into the creative process, because we give it. No, you know what I do? I do this, because God creates, and He's always creating and evolving. But yeah, I mean, it's simple as something that's doing. Oh, I'll tell you this: Kanye did the lemonade stand. Remember that? We talked about that a while ago, but he did a lemonade stand for a release. I thought that was cool because he connected to the community.
Brown 700.
Yeah, the Brown 700s,
Okay.
right? So all of the kids that did that got a pair of Brown 700s. He went over to Africa and did his thing in Africa and gifted a bunch of 700s or whatever.
White 350s.
There were 350s,
Sure.
right? A bunch of Yeezys, right? When you're engaging, I need that. That's why you my co-host.
But this is Adidas stuff. What do I know, right?
Yeah, you don't really like. Anyway, we gonna talk about Adidas right now. But I think once you engage your community, right, you're as a preacher and a man of God, they can't condemn you of who you are before you came as a man of God.
For sure.
Because let's be honest, there's judges that lived a life of crime. There are pastors that lived a life of crime.
Sure.
I know pastors that lived a life of crime and had a life-changing event. Mm-hmm. So if you are a person of God and a person of the church, who are you to condemn that man?
Right.
So let alone a man that's just a sneaker lover.
Right.
That doesn't define him, and he doesn't necessarily mean he's taking the money and doing something corrupt just for his sneaker fetish. But I think business transparency, I think we forget that there is a business aspect to it. I'll tell you this, before I moved to Las Vegas, I'm a nerd. I went on Vice.com, and they had an episode called Charleston Boulevard. Charleston Boulevard is the longest stretching street in Las Vegas. The biggest church, Mormon church, sits on Charleston Boulevard. The Mormons funded the mob to help start the casino. So I'm gonna just let that marinate like neck bone juice, because how does that your moral compass, how does that align? It doesn't.
Sure.
Crime syndicate, religious group for money. So my point in all this is there is a silver lining to say that there is business structure in that community, because let alone if this Mormon banker funded the mob, you better believe he's funding his church. There's no other way to answer that question. That's why that church is so big.
Right.
So my point is like any pastor, if you're listening, complete transparency, because that's what people want to know. It makes everybody feel comfortable.
And I mean,
takes that
what's tight about our Pastor Jabin is that dude's straight up, he's like, yo, y'all gave this much money, and this is what we're doing with the money.
Right.
Yo, we need this much money.
Transparency.
And God's providing it. And like, dude, it is cool to see the stories, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, when it comes to finances, and it's very key biblically, that it's just connected to the heart. Yep. If God can get a hold of your finances, He can get a hold of your heart, and He can change your life. And that's just, I believe that truth and principle. But yeah, for sure. I think unfortunate about the Mormon Church. I think that like my opinion on it is just I mean, like
you can go in if you want.
I don't really have an opinion. It's like
Yeah.
if that's facts, then that's unfortunate, and that's why we need to be, like you said, more transparent and just be more real. I like if there's always something to hide, then you're gonna probably start going down those paths. But yeah.
On a lighter note,
I'm
curious. So I hear a lot about your background, and this is the first time I've heard about your background. I've heard nothing but great things about you, but digging deeper to who you are as a person, your foundation. You're a military man.
Yeah, I did 7 years in the Guard as a officer.
Okay, I did 4 years as Air Force Reserve. So, I salute you for your service. It's always fun too because serving the military, people forget that so many creative people are in the military.
For sure.
How or what led you into getting into your media group and being into the path that you're in right now?
For sure. I mean, I think as far as like what the Army has influenced in my life, I think more than anything, doing ROTC at UNLV, it's taught me so much about like leadership, relating with people, knowing that people are always watching you, and to take charge, be situationally aware, like reverse engineer, like plan backwards. If you have something going on, go backwards. And a lot of these like key principles I learned from becoming an officer in the Army, yes, has transitioned into my creative space. I picked up a camera though for the very first time in 2005 or 6, and that was in high school. I was doing broadcasts. We were doing the announcements, and we were able to get creative with it. But I really enjoyed editing video, and I started vlogging. Like in 2007, I started vlogging, putting it up on YouTube, and I got my my muscle, the muscles of doing those things started doing some reps. And when I went to UNLV initially, I was going for business, and then I hit accounting, and I was like, dude, this isn't for me.
Right.
Which is crazy because like now I'm learning about business like crazy, but like initially that was tough, and so I transitioned to journalism and media studies, and it was a lot more of an easier degree because I actually enjoyed what we were learning. But I would actually say it was very outdated. You have people who used to write newspapers, and like Twitter was on the come up during the time as a new news outlet. It's like news is being very like leveled, and you can get it a million different ways, and not from your doorstep's newspaper. But
that's right.
But more than anything, I'd never put the camera down, and so I think I've become like a master at all those 10,000 hours. Like I for sure have 10,000 hours put into all of the things that encompass creating video, photography, content, and so when I initially got hired at the church, I started serving about 6 months before I graduated college, and that's when I met Sean Cannell, who's kind of like a mentor of mine, and who's the CEO of Think Media. And during, when he went on his journey to kind of like start his own business, and I did my thing there for another 3.5 years. But when I left, I reconnected with him, and during that time, he was like building his YouTube channel for the first time and putting it, to motion. And I didn't know he lived 3 minutes down the road from me, and we got reconnected, and I was kind of one of his first hires, and we just built really slowly, helped him, taking off the editing and filming load, but it's been really cool to see the business go, from 6 to multiple 7 figures, and now like a live event on a yearly live event in Vegas, as well as just helping a ton of entrepreneurs create video content to grow their brand, which I've been able to take that knowledge, being right beside him, and that's why I think it's really important to be a number 2. A lot of people want to be number 1, but you can be a number 2, and in your own regard, you will be a number 1 in your own regard.
That's what I was about to say, because you would think, city like you, but you also have Omar.
So I have, it's called Feed the Flame is my agency. Yes. Essentially, the premise is like, I can come in if I can. I've said no to clients who've wanted me, but if I don't think I could help you, then I don't want to take your money. So, but I think I can help you grow your influence. Right. I can't help you create influence. Right. But if you have something, and you maybe you've been in an industry for quite some time and you could speak to it, I can help you grow an influence based off of your industry, which is powerful. I think that's where the future is thinking of a business as a educator. So like if yesterday's fits kind of took on like the education. This is not a consultation session. I'm just messing around.
Drop the gems, baby. That's what we're doing.
if they taught other people to create this in other states, that's like the ultimate form of authority. Yeah. Is when people are looking to you to do a thing. Yes. And so authority can only come through consistency and showing up, and also with intentionality. So you can't just, and that's the unfortunate thing about today. I think people just put it in their bio that they are they give to X or whatever that may be, and there's no depth there. But you know when somebody has depth, and building authority just comes with coming up over time. And so I think it's been cool. I mean, I'll never leave Think Media, even though I have my agency going, because I think it's so important just to stay right behind someone who's 10 steps ahead of you.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people come to that fork in the road, and 1,000% you do that. But I would even say Sean has mentors. So Sean has mentors that are 30 steps beyond me. But as long as I'm right behind Sean, it's that it's the whole a race car strategy.
You're a student of the game, man.
What?
You're a student of the game.
100%.
Yeah.
And
you wanna learn. You wanna constantly.
yeah,
learn.
always learning. Like if I'm not learning, then I can't level up. And so I mean, there's that Kanye line. It's like the quote of the year, go and level up yourself just at different latitude.
Right.
Facts, bro. That's
real.
Facts. That's a bar.
It's just it's cool to see too. Like you get to choose your mentors, and if there's something you don't like that you're seeing, then just know that you don't do it yourself. Mm-hmm. But when I see someone who used to make $35,000 a year now generate with 15 people on the team, $2+ million, and him be the same person, that lesson in and of itself is invaluable, because I know I'm not going to change because of my dollar account. And so that's even allowed us to be very conservative with our finances. I for sure could do what I want, but I'd rather just keep what we're paying ourselves and just be smart with our finances, because again, I used to love reselling shoes, so I want to know what I can do with the money that's left over, and how can I create more, build more wealth on just the money that I've made, and I think that's the power of multiplication in that regard. And so I mean, I think it's really cool. If you don't know about Think Media, it's a YouTube channel where we talk about camera tips, and the goal is to level the playing field. If you want to go out, we're trying to be the authority in teaching you how to succeed on YouTube and let YouTube create an income for yourself, so you don't have to work that 9 to 5. The goal is actually to help 10,000 purpose-driven entrepreneurs reach a full-time income or lifestyle that they want through the power of online video and social media. And so that's been a mission. I mean, we're definitely hit the thousands mark, selling courses and stuff like that and helping people. But it's just crazy. The $600 investment that I made into Sean's course has turned into a agency. And I think it's just because a lot of people take the course, they apply it to themselves. I love planting, so I'm going to take my knowledge of planting, start a YouTube channel, and then build a brand and an authority on that. I was like, let me take this information. Hey, dude, I can help build your authority and build your sales. You know all this information. Let's just create content around it, and it could rank in search, and people could find you, and then they associate you you're the people to go to for this information. And if you taught somebody how to do something, and you offered the product, and then someone else offered the product, but they didn't teach you, who do you think you're going to buy it from?
Right.
You're going to buy it from the person that taught you.
Yes, sir.
And so that's the kind of the premise of my agency, Feed the Flame, is just I take clients that have really good knowledge in what they do and help them create more income with their business through podcasts or video tutorials and stuff like that. And dude, it's been a journey.
That's dope, bro.
It's been cool.
I've been seeing your stuff, man.
Yeah.
You've been keeping it.
It's crazy because when I picked up a camera in 2005, no one said Omar, you're gonna single-handedly be able to make multiple six figures. And I'm like, because doing $300 photo shoots for families every week equates to $1,200.
Right.
How does that actually scale? And I've just learned personally, and if you're creative listening, if you can offer yourself as a content creator, you need to grow as a strategist. So because you could sell businesses on strategy for probably more than you can with the content itself. So if you can handle the content, hit record on cameras or do creative work, and then help them get it out there, that actually builds their top line, then they're gonna trust you even more. And so I've been able to take on high ticket clients because I'm helping their top line grow. Yep. And so that's where the game changed for me, was I went from just a photographer, videographer to someone who's running this agency and actually helping businesses generate income. And so So I think more than ever, it's just leveling up, always being a learner. There's a quote that it's whenever you stop learning is when you stop leading, and so I have to level up myself if I want everything else around me to level up. And so I make it a point. I love podcasting, I love reading, and putting myself up on new things. Like my outlook on time and trading it for money has just been completely changed because of a book I read called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, I believe.
I know that, yeah, I heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, just like what systems could be automated, and like if you can create a system around something. And so I'm always like, how can I be faster at what I do, so I can do more of it?
It's really
and then
teaching you the efficiency,
all that stuff. And so I could see a person work and know that I saw 10 shortcuts they could have taken while they're working. But on them, it took them 10 steps to get there. In my head, as I would have gotten paid more for my time because I would have just cut straight through. In that, I don't know if
that's how you think. That's how you
exactly.
Think. Yeah.
There has to be a faster way. That's my thinking. Anytime I see something, what's a faster way we can do this? And so I think that thinking has led me to be able to do a lot with a little. And yeah, I'm super grateful for it. It's really cool. I legit would have never thought I'd be able to kind of do this. I don't know how long I want to do this. It's fun right now, but I do see myself one of these days back in full-time ministry. It's my heart. The local church is my heart to help reach more people that way. Mm-hmm. But I do feel in this season that I could be, influencing these multiple 8-figure companies, which is crazy, that they trust what I have to say. I'm like, dude, I'm just a 28-year-old kid that just like started taking photos one day, and I've just been on this journey. But they're like, what should we do? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, bro, I don't know, bro. You're the one who built your 8-figure company, bro. But it's been cool, and it's just staying along that path has been really fun. And also just being humble about it. I mean, I never self-promote. A lot of people don't know what I do. I think they just think like they have generalizations based off of where I'm at physically. Yep. But as far as what I do, I've never ran at. I don't really self-promote because I trust that like those relationships will come.
Exactly.
And I've been they're like with the increase of revenue, I've also been scammed a lot. Right. Someone like last year I lost a $6,000 scam because a dude needed a photographer for a family like gathering thing, and I was like, he had a big budget, but he juked me, bro, and I sent invoices, and then it was paid on fake credit cards, which got to my bank account, and then I did stuff, and then it sucked the money out of my account, and it was really like a $6,000 loss, and I was like, cool, that was a cool story. Right. But cool story for the kids one day. Yeah. But I think more than ever,
not a loss, a lesson, bro.
No, for sure. Yep. You never lose, you only learn.
That's right.
But yeah, I think just leveling up and knowing what you're supposed to do. Like if you are doing the right things, as far as I know, I try my best to do the right things, and trusting God with my finances, trusting God with my vision, and or His vision for our life, me and my wife and my daughter, and knowing that if I just walk in those steps, that like He would just honor. If He knows I need it, then He'll give it, and but alongside my work. So like I think some people have this misconception about God where they think that they can just pray Him to work when God wants a partnership.
Right.
So there's a story in the Bible where Jesus feeds 5,000 people with a few loaves and fish, mm-hmm. and He says, "What's in your pocket? Like, what do you guys have?" Yeah. And then He said, "You guys pass it out."
Right.
And they're like, "What do you mean we pass it out?" We don't. So God wants a partnership. He wants to do things with you, not just for you. And so, yeah, if you come alongside your Creator, I mean, I think more than ever, He'll bless what you put your hands to, and I've seen Him do that. So it's been really cool.
Today's password is Jesus walks.
Oh yeah, that's the word. I see what she's doing.
See what I do? You see what I do?
That's an inside joke that I don't know.
No.
We dropping keys for them.
No jokes.
All
vibes. All vibes.
That's the word.
That's the
Jesus
word.
walks.
Jesus walks.
Yeah.
Jesus walks.
Dude, I go to my barber. One time they were talking about that. Sometimes when people know that I'm very highly involved in church, and maybe they're not, and they want to pull it out of me, or they're trying to get me, and I'm just trying to get a fade. But I mean, when the opportunity always presents itself, I'm never shy about sharing my faith, and
you shouldn't be.
No, for sure. Like, but it's funny because it was like
he lining you up. He like, what
no, and I'm just talking, and it's just funny because like. it ended, like the whole conversation ended the day I got a fade with like, could you just pray over this entire barbershop? I'm like, all right, let's do it. And then now there's a Chinese guy that cuts next to my barber, D. Witters, and he calls me Young Hallelujah every time. I was like, that's a dope nickname. I'll take it.
Yeah, sure.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
Hey man, I think that's great too. Like that's a good thing about the word. You're a genuine guy. You know,
sure.
just in this sit down and kick it, I can feel that energy. You know, so anywhere you go, it's naturally gonna come out. You know, because people want to know more about you, so they're gonna know about you.
Right.
You got to tell them. You know, and I think it's dope. You know what I mean? Like just the way that everything went today. You know, you got to do what you got to do. You know,
Right.
So.
All right, we to that point. We to that point in the show, right? Where it's time to get where somebody got to get blinded, right?
Man, I already got blinded.
Look, you got.
I don't want no more of
All
that.
right, Omar.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So we take our guests, or me or Nick. But last week it was Nick. So
me.
this day it's gonna be Omar.
Yeah.
And we blindfold him, and we gonna give him a sneaker. All right, y'all. We gonna give him a sneaker and see, cause he a sneaker dude. He a fashion dude. He know his stuff, and just see, if he can guess this sneaker. Wow. Right, you get it right. If you can guess the shoe, that you get a yesterday's fit to give you $20 store credit.
Oh, let's run it.
Oh, word. Now, if you get the colorway right and the size, if you get all three right, that's 40. But if you just get the shoe and the colorway, that's 30, or a shoe and the size, that's 30.
Just the shoe, though, is 20.
Just the shoe, though, is 20. Right. I mean,
it's a win-win.
Yeah. All right, so let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you can
blindfold yourself, brother. While he getting blindfolded, y'all take a moment to like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends about Friends and Brands podcast.
Right. All right, let's get it.
You tied up?
Tied up.
How many fingers I'm holding up?
I don't know.
Okay, cool. I don't know. So see what
hand it to you.
our beloved brother Jay Berry grabs.
I would say I'm a Jordan guy over anything else, but then I probably could fill out some Yeezys.
Is he?
Like SBs, I got to fill the tongue and the laces, but
Okay.
But they asked me like, is there a shoe that you don't know? I would say it was like Asics.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I don't know my Asics.
I'm the this way, bro.
When those started coming around, I was like, I don't know why these are cool.
I don't think Jesse takes a Coney, so ain't no Saucony.
Here we go. You just tell us the silhouette.
Shout out to Jesse at yesterday's
the silhouette,
fits.
If you can guess the size or even the colorway, you'll get it right.
Okay, easily 6.
Ooh.
Off top.
Suede. Okay, suede all around. But there's leather in the back. Sick, okay. I wouldn't be remiss if were these Carmines? Let's run it, bro.
What size?
Wow. Yeah, we gotta get. What size is the shoe?
I mean, I get to do whatever I need to do to figure it out without looking at it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna run these on real quick.
Oh, that's smart.
I'm trying to get this
That's
40, cuz.
Wow.
First ever.
Bro, they're 9.5.
Let's go, bro.
That's right.
We out here.
He got all 3 right.
Wow.
Hey, bro, I'm impressed.
Yes, that's crazy.
No, I swear, bro, it's not.
That's crazy.
Bro, Jesse, you should have hooked me up with these, cuz. Let's go.
Wow.
Yo, that's
He said I wouldn't be.
crazy.
He's like, it's a Carmine. Damn, kid.
I think my wife's pretty impressed too right now.
First ever.
Yeah, she already let
I had
you go.
no
It's
idea.
amazing, bro.
Yes.
Nah, man, look. Hey, we appreciate you coming
Dude.
to the
Yeah,
show,
man.
bro.
Thank you for having me,
man.
Hey, man, appreciate it, dude.
y'all.
Yes.
That's another episode.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you guys. I affirm this show. You know,
Yes.
I think Vegas has something to say on a cultural standpoint.
talking
This is such a melting pot of creativity, of influence, of just like great things, and it's crazy because like I mean being here as long as I've been, just seeing like the rise of how this city is kind of creating its name for itself, and just that like young kids can come here and they have places they want to go, like urban necessities, like yesterday's fits, but then also attributing like athletes, and you know Devin being on here is super cool. But yeah, I mean, dude, I got love for the city, but more than ever, I got love for this podcast, and so make sure you like, subscribe, and if you haven't rated. Check this out. We're gonna give away a $20 online gift card if you rate the podcast on Apple iTunes. So rate the podcast 5 stars. Tell us what you love about it, and then they're gonna randomly select the winner. and then you can get yourself a nice little vintage tee.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I got the best vintage. Y'all.
I got a couple. Jesse, stay getting in my pockets.
Appreciate you, again, bro.
Thank you.
That's another episode of Friends and Brands.
All right, peace.